You can start.
Okay, so I am going to try to explain the concepts of coaxial connectors and adapters to you today. So coaxial connectors and cables. These are connectors which are used to connect the coaxial cables. Interconnection between coaxial cables and microwave components is achieved with the help of shielded standard connectors. They provide high quality connectors which are reliable, long lasting which gives reliable, long lasting connections. Within digital, video, audio, RF, and microwave industries, there are several varieties of coaxial cable connector types. Each offers unique benefits based on the end use or application. There are 5 types, just general 5 types of coaxial connectors. Type N, BNC, which is Bayonet Navy connector, and the type N stands for Navy. TNC, threaded Navy connector, then SMA, subminiature A, APC, amphenol precision connector. And amphenol precision connectors have 2 types, which is APC 3.5 and APC 7. 3.5 there means that is mm, the type 3.5 mm and 7 mm. Type N connector. The N connector is a threaded waterproof medium size RF connector used to join coaxial cables. It was one of the first connectors capable of carrying microwave frequency signals and was invented in 1940. Originally, the connector was designed to carry signals at frequencies up to 1 gigahertz in military applications, but today's common type N easily handles frequency up to 11 gigahertz. The connector is hand tightened and has an air gap between the center and outer conductors. As torque limits depend only on thread quality and cleanliness, whereas the main operation requirement is good RF contact without significant steps or gaps. It is available in 2 versions, 50 ohm version and 75 ohm versions. So 50 ohm version is widely used in infrastructures of mobile, wireless data, paging, and cellular systems. 75 ohm version is used in the infrastructure of cable television systems. Now the BNC connectors. BNC, originally designed for military use and has gained wide acceptance in video and RF application to 2 gigahertz. BNC coaxial connectors are best suited for frequencies below 4 gigahertz, as connectors lose mechanical stability as they get closer to 10 gigahertz. The BNC uses an outer conductor with slots and plastic dielectric on each gender connector. Forgot to mention for type N, there is something called as gender, which means it has male and female to interconnect it. So in here, in BNC also, there is a gender connection, male and female. The di- this di- and The BNC uses an outer conductor with slots and plastic dielectric on each gender connector. This dielectric causes increasing losses at higher frequencies. Coaxial connectors is a miniature to subminiature RF connector used for quick connect disconnect in RF equipment. BNC connections can be found in recording studios. Digital recording equipment uses the connection for synchronization of various components via transmission of word clock timing signal. TNC connectors. TNC connectors are Weatherproof miniature units that operate up to 12 gigahertz and are commonly used in cellular phone and RF antenna connections to resolve leakage and stability issues. This operates best in 0 to 11 gigahertz frequency spectrum. Better performance than BNC connector at microwave frequencies. TNC have been widely used by Wi-Fi equipment manufacturers. SMA, subminiature A. SMA connectors are semi-precision coaxial RF connector. The connector has a 50 ohm impedance. It is also commonly used in radio astronomy, particularly at higher frequencies. SMA designed for use from 0 to 18 gigahertz and is most commonly used in microwave systems, handheld radio, and mobile telephone antennas. APC. In APC, the first one, APC7. It is very accurate 50 ohm low VSWR. VSWR here is the voltage standing wave ratio. Yeah, voltage standing wave ratio connector, which can operate up to 18 gigahertz. APC7 connectors are advantageous because they have a low reflection coefficient, make repeatable coaxial connections, and are genderless. Here, all the previous connectors are gendered. This APC7 is genderless, which has that means which has no male or female connector. APC 3.5. This connector can operate up to a frequency of 34 gigahertz and has very low voltage standing wave ratio. This connector provides repeatable connections and has 500 characteristic impedance. The male connector introduces higher order modes and hence not used above to 24 gigahertz. Modern low frequency microwave equipment often uses the less expensive 3.5 mm connector. Mechanical tolerance, stability, temperature, performance is the SWR, which is standing wave ratio, repeatability, loss and wear are better in 3.5 mm. They are available in bulkhead or not mount options. These connectors include clamp or solder attachment method. To overview of all the connectors, N-type is a sext which is available in male and female and has an and the 50 ohms and 75 ohms version is available. Same for BNC, TNC, and SMA. As I talked about APC7, it is sexless. APC 3.5 is also available in male and female. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. It's fine. You can put the slides so that I can just explain them the concept a little bit.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Starting from the connectors and that. Is there anybody who want to ask any question? Okay. See, microwave passive devices, you have the components and devices which are mainly designed for coaxial lines, waveguides, strip lines, and microstrip lines. Both you'll be using in the microwave communication and radar system as well as in the laboratory. So these components can be considered either a one-port network or it can be considered for a multi-port network. Mainly you will have to or characterized by the parameters like VSWR, that is voltage standing wave ratio, reflection coefficients, and various losses which you have studied already. So all those losses comes under the matched conditions. So you'll be mainly studying here the basic operating principles like sections, terminators, attenuators, phase shifters. Under that, you have actual coaxial cable. For the coaxial cable, it has to be, it will be used for the transmission. But when you go for transmission of the electromagnetic wave, so it has to be terminated or connected to other cables. So these, when terminated or connected to other cables, they will have the components, which means of shielded standard connectors. So it has to be shielded so that there should not be any loss occurring when you do the transmission. So outer shield will make around 360 degree here. So you can see there are different things which you can see, the connector shapes as well as the size of the connectors. So these outer shield, which will make 360 degree connections or 360 degree, which are having low impedance joint, so that it will maintain the shielding integrity. So you have to maintain that standard so that the connectors will not be having any problem when they connect to the coaxial cable and to other devices. So here, these connectors will have again different frequency range and cable parameters. So which are commonly used, you can go for next slides. There are 5 different types, that is type N connector, which he said already, they have gender as well as genderless. So it's like male and female. Type N connector, BNC connector, TNC connector, and APC connectors. So here, if you're going for adapters, which will have different connectors in a microwave system, you will have 2 ends. These 2 ends will be made of interconnection between the different ports in the microwave system. So the basic diagrams also he has shown you already. So if you go for type N connector, that N will give you for Navy. So this connector is having around 50 and 70 ohm connector, or it comes under 50 and 70 ohm connectors. So which is mainly designed for the military applications. Now here, these cables are flexible. You have the frequency range for this particular type N connector. It is 1 to 18 gigahertz. So BNC, that is next one. In the BNC connector, again, it is Bionet Navy connector, which is mainly suitable for, this also comes in the same ohm itself, 50 and 75 ohm impedance. This inch will be around 0.25. So these, what you can see, the circles, there are different inches given for each of the cables. So this is around 0.25 inch. And these again, these cables are made up of 1 gigahertz. The next one, it is TNC, that is threaded Navy connector. This is similarly like your BNC. The thing is, you will have the outer conductor which has thread to make, so that it will make a contact firmly with the other connectors. Compared to your BNC, this is much stronger. The one which compared to your BNC, TNC will be much stronger because it will have threaded connection like your screw. You know the screw is there, you will have those threads. Similarly, here also you will have the threads so that it will make a firm contact with the surface. And if you have these firms in the, or if you have these threads in the connectors, the leakage problem will be very less when you go for higher frequency transmission. So the problem of leakage or the radiation leakage will be less. Now these connectors, since they are used for very high frequencies, it will go up to 12 gigahertz. Again, here also you have male and female connectors. The next one, that is SMA, which is sub-miniature A connectors. These are also used for flexible and can also be used for flexible operation as well as semi-rigid or semi-precision cables. Now here the frequency is much higher than compared to the other connectors. It is around 24 gigahertz because the modes of transmissions are different. So if to use for higher modes, so you'll go for SMA connectors with higher frequency, that is around 24 gigahertz. Now again, all these connectors, this is having gender, that is male and female, apart from the one that is APC connectors. Now here, this is a schematic diagram. That means if you see the connector overall, so there is one figure which is representing your schematic. That is the internal structure of your cables. So each structure will have different schematic for male or for female, and along with different millimeters or the dimensions which is given. The APC, it is Amphenol precision connectors. So here again you have 7, which will represent the millimeter of the connections. This provide coupling without male or female. So it is not that you require a male connection or a female connection for a coupling to happen. Without the male or female, this configuration can be coupled. And APC7, it is used for around 50 ohm with low VSWR connector. So it can operate under 18 gigahertz. Similarly, your APC that is female, which you have, sorry, APC, one more, that is 9, I guess. So that APC connectors, sorry, 3.5, that APC connector will have the male and female connections, but the frequency of that is around 26.5 gigahertz, which will be mainly used for the microwave equipment. Now in the tabular column, you have matching connectors, which is given, the different types which you have seen, whether they are sexed or that is sexless. And one more is the dielectric mating space. Now, since I've told you there has to be a connections, when you're connecting, the male connection should be done with the female connection. So that connection space is what called as mating space. So coming to N type, it is in the air. BNC, TNC, SMA, it is a solid connection. Similarly, if you take APC 7 and APC 3.5, their mating is in air. And the impedances which are used is already told, 50 to 75 for first 3 types, and rest 3, it will go for 50 ohm impedance. So this is about the coaxial connectors and adapters. Is there any confusion for anybody?
No.
Okay. I think only Azmat is having the seminar today, correct?
Yes, ma'am, only I am.
Okay.
Can I stop sharing?
Yeah, you can stop sharing. Now we'll move on to the next property. Anybody is having any doubt, please let me know, or else we'll move to the next topic. That is the property, third property of your microwave passive devices. Was there any confusion in the second property? That is the second property which we have seen after the symmetry property.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll go to the third property. The third property is called as unitary property for a lossless, that is unitary property for a lossless junction. Now here, since it's already mentioned, it's a lossless junction. So for any lossless network, the statement of the property says the sum of the products of each term of one row and one column. Sum of product of each term of any one row or any one column of the S matrix is multiplied by its complex conjugate is unity, which means that you will have a, say for example, there are n and I number of networks, and the sum of this, say I'll denote it as summation 1 to n. The sum of the row as well as the product, if I say, which will be the complex conjugate. So here, any row or any column of a S matrix multiplied with a complex conjugate, which is equal to unity. So you have to prove this. The sum of the product of rows and columns, where you have the S matrix complex conjugate also taken, the product of that is equal to unity. So to prove this, what you have to do is, from the principles of conservation of energy, we know that if the junction is lossless, the input power should be equal to output power. So this is the normal thing which you have studied from very junior classes. According to the principle of conservation of energy, if you consider the input power and output power, if the junction is lossless, that means that input power should be equal to output power. Now, in the previous derivations, you have already written for input power, that is P in is equal to applying the concept of your RMS voltage. If AN is the amplitude, so you have written that as P input is equal to half into magnitude of AN square. Similarly, P out is equal to half into BN magnitude square. Now we know, according to the principle of conservation of energy, P in is equal to P out. So if I write the equation P in is equal to P out, which is also equal to half into magnitude of AN square, which is equal to half into magnitude of Bn square. Now, since I have to consider for n number of networks, so I'll consider n is equal to 1 to n. Again, half and half will get cancelled. You will have magnitude of An square and summation n is equal to 1 to n magnitude of Bn square. So this is mainly because I'll be considering for n number of networks. Now here, if I take the scattering parameter for Sni, we know that it is nothing but reflection coefficient Pn divided by Ai. Similarly, now you have to consider how you have done for symmetric property. Considering the voltage level for n networks are all 0 except the ith port. So if the same concept is applied to this equation, so I can write Bn as, from this equation, it is Sni into Ai. I'll tell you once again. The third property says that is unitary property for a lossless junction. For any lossless network, the sum of products of each term of any one row or any one column of the S matrix multiplied by the complex conjugate is equal to unity, or which is equal to 1. So from the principles of conservation of energy, if the junction is lossless, input power should be equal to output power. Input power equation, we know it is half into magnitude of An square. Output power is half into magnitude of Bn square. Take this as equation 1 and equation 2. Equate it, half and half will get cancelled. Now I have to relate this to multiport network. So if I consider summation n is equal to 1 to n, magnitude of An square is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to n, magnitude of Bn square. We know that if we consider for n network and ith port, so Sni scattering parameter can be written as Bn by Ai. From this, I'll take Bn is equal to Sni into Ai. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll clear the screen. So what you have to do is, you have got this equation, that is summation n is equal to 1 to n, magnitude of An square, which is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to n, magnitude of Bn square. But I have written for Bn, that is Sni into Ai. Now, the Bn, what value you have to substitute this Bn value to here. So the equation will be summation n is equal to 1 to n, magnitude of An square, which is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to n, magnitude of, now see, this is only having till n is equal to 1 to n. The ith parameter is not defined. So for Sni to substitute in this Bn, I have to relate it to the ith and n parameters. So it is I is equal to 1 to n, where it will represent your Sni, then your Ai magnitude square. This Bn, the value what you have taken from Sni, you have to relate it to this equation, substitute it. To substitute it, before that we have to define I. So I is nothing but the values which are ranging from 1 to n. So you'll get the whole equation in terms of I and n. Now what we are saying that if only the ith port is excited, or if we consider only the ith port, except the ith port, all other ports will be match terminated, or all other ports will be terminated. So if we terminate all other ports, all the An values, that is An will be equal to zeros, except the value that is Ai. You have done it also previously in the symmetry property. What we are doing is we are considering only the ith port, saying that all the other ports will be match terminated. Match termination is nothing but all the other inputs we are making it to 0. So except that Ai. So the whole equation what you have considered above will be simplified as since all the ANs will be 0, so the equation of summation n is equal to 1 to n, the value that is Sni Ai magnitude square, which is equal to, now here all the values which are related to n will be gone. So only remaining will be Ai. Similarly, if you take here all the values till An will be gone. So you'll be having the values that is 1 to n Ai square. So which is equal to the equation that is summation n is equal to 1 to n summation ni square, which is equal to, now see you have, if I split this equation, so you have ai square, you have ai square. Both the squares will get cancelled and you will have the equation which is equal to 1. Only if I write for this equation, ai square will be gone, this ai square will be gone, you will be left with 1. So I can write this equation as summation n is equal to 1 to n Sni star. Because you know magnitude is nothing but real and complex. So if I can write this Sni as Sni and the complex conjugate Sni star. Once more I'll tell you. First you're taking the equation Bn, substituting it. So if you substitute, you will have the ith term coming into effect. So you have to consider only the ith port. So if you're considering only the ith port here, match terminating all the other ports, all the values of An will be equal to 0. So you'll be having only the equation which are related to Ai. So the summation n is equal to 1 to n. So which are having, that is Ai square. Similarly, summation n is equal to 1 to n, that is having Sni and your Ai magnitude square. So the equation, what you have here, if you split it, the Ai terms will be common in the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So it will get cancelled. You will have summation n is equal to 1 to n Sni magnitude square, which is equal to 1. This equation can also be written as Sni star, which is real and complex when you have inside the magnitude, which is also equal to 1. Is there any confusion? Okay. Now for a lossless junction, if it is equal to 1, then we say this is unitary property. Or if I say if all the An is equal to 0, if An is equal to 0, except your, that is Ai, or if I consider Ai which you take, this Ai is not equal to 0, and suppose the summation n is equal to 1 to n, there applies a condition where Sni star is not or is equal to 0, then this property is called as 0 property. So if that real and complex values or complex conjugate, if it is equal to 0, it will be 0 property. If it is equal to 1, then it means it is unitary property. You have only this to prove, so no need to worry about this. Just remember, if those real and complex values are equal to 0, then that is called as 0 property. If you have which is equal to 1, then that is called as unitary property. Now, in a matrix which you take, if you have, we know that what is S matrix and S star is called as, in terms of matrix, S and S complex conjugate. Matrix is called as, or which is equal to, say 1 and 1 star. What is the value? You have proved it already here. Yes, n and Sn star is equal to 1. Which means in terms of matrix, how can I write it?
Unity matrix.
It is unity matrix because you know it is 1. So Sn complex conjugate of your matrix is equal to unity matrix. If I take S complex conjugate S, what is the symmetry property says for S matrix? How can I write S matrix according to symmetry? What was symmetry property? Second property which you have seen. The equation in terms of matrix. Let's go back to the
S matrix is equal to S transpose.
Yeah, S matrix is equal to S transpose was the symmetry matrix. S is equal to S transpose. So if I substitute for S here, S star into S transpose is also equal to unity matrix. Or if I'm writing for S star from this or complex conjugate of S, it is unity matrix divided by the S transpose, or you can also write it as, just a second. So this will be S transpose, or since unity matrix is always equal to 1, I can write it as S transpose to the inverse. So which can give you the meaning that if you consider the unity property of a lossless network, this unity property can also be, or complex conjugate of S matrix can also be represented as S transpose inverse. So this is one property which you can derive from unity property. One will be S is equal to S transpose matrix. One more will be S complex conjugate if you have. That is nothing but we know actually by this only you can prove Sn that is real and complex conjugate of S matrix is unity matrix, which can also say that your S transpose and S transpose inverse. From this you can also say that S transpose into S transpose inverse is also equal to unity. So this is the unity matrix which you can write in terms of matrix. If you write in terms of the summation where you consider your I and j, then you can say that both the values of your real and complex conjugate will be equal to 1. Suppose say your n and that is I or sorry, your n is equal to I. This condition matters. If your n is not equal to I, which means that this condition will go to 0, which is nothing but your 0 property. So both the cases, if your n is equal to I, which means that it will become unity property. If your n is not equal to I, that means it will go to 0 property. So equation here which states that if you have equal to 1, so this is nothing but the product of any column of S matrix with complex conjugate of the column, which will give you unity, or it states that the product of any column of S with respect to the complex conjugate what you have, that is S star, that is also equal to 1 if it is going for the unitary property, or else it will be 0. Should I explain you once again? Okay, I hope it is understood. So I'll clear the screen. The last property what you have, that is the fourth property. This is called as phase shift property. Okay. So in the phase shift property here, you have complex S parameters of a network. So you will have a positions of port and reference plane which will be defined. For example, I'll consider a device which will have S parameters defined. So it is a 2-port network. Say this is the 2-port network which is defined. So I'll consider this the first length, first position of your two-port network. That is, this is the first port. And one more, that is the second port position is this one. So what I'll be doing is I'll be shifting the first port by a length, say L1. So the shifted port, I'll write it as 1 dash. Similarly, I'm shifting the second port by a distance of L2. So which is denoted as 2 dash. So these are nothing but the reference planes. The first one which you take, that is 1 and 2. These are the reference planes based on which you will be finding out the S parameters. So you have the positions of the port or the reference planes. So for a two-port network reference planes, which is shown here, you have to determine the S parameters. As you know, the S parameter is defined as S11, S12, S21, and S22 for a two-port network. So these are the S parameters. Now, when you shift, or if the reference planes 1 and 2 are shifted outwards, because you can see 1 is shifted outwards, 2 is also shifted outwards. So you're shifting the reference plane 1 and 2 outwards, say by an electrical phase shift. Now, how do you define an electrical phase shift formula is with respect to the formula of flux or electrical phase shift, which is nothing but beta 1 into L1. So this is a formula for phase shift. You have the phase constant with respect to the length. So the first reference plane 1 which you have, which you are shifting outwards by an electrical phase shift, phi1 is equal to beta 1 L1. Similarly, reference plane 2 is shifted outwards with an electrical phase shift, phi2 is equal to B2 into L2. So then the new variables what you have with respect to the port 1 will be, A1 will be the voltage, or A1 will be the incident wave which you're taking. The incident wave will be multiplied with the phase shift when you change the position of the reference plane. So the phase shift of the first changing value, phase shift is nothing but J phi. So this will be with respect to the J phi1. Phi1 is nothing but the first plane. Similarly, reflected wave. That is the first incident wave which we have taken. The second one is the reflected wave, which will be B1. Since it is reflected, it is minus J phi2. Similarly, phi1. Next, this will be with respect to, it is incident will be A2, reflected will be B2. But after you shift to a length of, say, L2, it will be A2 into e to the power J phi2 is the phase formation or phase change. Similarly, the reflected will be B2 e to the power minus J phi2. You're considering a device which is having a port 1 and 2. You're shifting the position of the reference plane 1 by 1 dash. Similarly, 2 by 2 dash. So when you change the reference plane from its position, the electrical phase shift is denoted by phi1 is equal to beta 1 into L1. So the incident waves will also be shifted with respect to the phase shift. It will change with respect to the phase shift as well as the reflected wave. So whenever you change the reference plane, it gets multiplied with the phase shift of the system. So the first phase shift, what is nothing but J phi1, because incident, reflected will have minus. So if you are representing your equation in terms of an S matrix, now for this phase shift, what you are taking, you have to write an S matrix representation. So for this, you will be writing the S matrix comparing to the 4 parameters S11, S12, S21, S22.